Hey guys, welcome to the party. I'm Scott Friedman. Welcome to the Weekend Rock Stars, your podcast for upcoming musicians and artists, giving you all the tips, tricks and licks you need for getting started in music. So I'm Scott Friedman as always, and with me is Billy, just got engaged Edmund.
Hey everybody.
Hey.
That's right, I just got engaged.
Yes, Billy just got engaged. Fantastic news. Congratulations, man. To you and Sarah. That's going to be great. So do you want to share a little bit with our listeners about how you proposed?
Yeah, so basically the last week we were in Devon, which, if you don't know where Devon is, it's in the southwest of the country, of the UK.
Beautiful part of the country.
Beautiful part of the country. It's where they make a lot of fudge and Devonshire tea, cream tea and jam and all that.
Yeah.
And yeah, we were staying on this little farm in a little shepherd's hut, and I whipped it out, the ring.
How romantic.
Yeah, and I asked the question, and she said yes.
Fantastic.
Luckily, so
Yeah.
very, very happy. And listeners, you'll be pleased to know that just before we started recording, I did ask Scott a question as well, and he graciously accepted the offer of being my best man.
Hey. That's great. Funnily enough, Billy said that, asked me, and then instantly after he was like, I should have saved it for the podcast and asked you then, and that would have been really epic. And and we were always going to pretend that he didn't ask me, so we could do it again for you here. But
his reaction was something like, "What?"
No, and incredibly honoured. It's gonna be a good time. Gonna plan an epic stag do. So moving into the podcast of today, our topic is how to make money from music. And as someone who makes a living off making music, I often have people online and then in person, go, how do you make money from music? And there's a lot of different ways which we're gonna get into today. So starting off, I just want to say all these methods kind of feed into one another. There's no one way to do it. There's lots of different ways that all mesh together, which will hopefully start to make sense as we get into it. But what I want to talk about first is actually selling your music. So selling it physically, selling it online as well. So we'll start off with physical. So obviously physically you can sell music on a CD, you can sell it on vinyl if you fancy, and you can sell it on tape, and I'm sure mini disc, there's someone out there who's burning their music to mini disc and selling it, amongst probably a lot of other methods. So Billy, I want to ask you a bit about your experience selling music physically, and yeah, go for it.
So obviously I've been in the game for the last 11, 12 years, I guess.
Yeah. And
in that time I've released 3 albums and an EP. Yeah, 3 albums and an EP. Right? And I feel like the landscape has changed dramatically in that time.
Yeah.
But obviously, like with each album, we got them printed on CDs, and we would sell them at our gigs, and we'd also sell them online through our merch store as well.
Yeah.
And even back in the earlier days, we managed to get our CDs in HMV.
You did indeed. I remember going into HMV in Winchester, seeing that, and that was being very impressed.
Yeah, it was all. I mean, all of that was down to basically finding the right distributor that can facilitate that.
Yeah.
And then basically they just handled all the legwork and got it into the shops.
Fantastic.
And I think essentially getting the CDs at the gigs is probably where you're most likely going to sell them physically.
Yeah.
Is you're going to make a fan at the gig, and then they're going to come up to you, hopefully at the merch table after the gig.
Yeah.
And they want to buy your merch, and hopefully take it home the CD. Saying that, I feel like it has changed slightly in that in recent years, obviously because of the growth of streaming services.
Yeah.
Getting less people wanting to buy a physical CD, because I mean, even myself, I don't even have a CD player anymore.
Yeah,
So,
I've got one in my car still.
yeah, I don't even have one in my car anymore. So
Yeah?
it's like,
Wow.
if someone gives me a CD, I'm like, well, I don't know what to do with it. I can't.
Yeah.
What am I going to do with this?
Yeah, it's a coaster.
So it is a bit of like a weird one because, like, obviously, we all romanticize about the physical media days and how everyone loves showing off their collection and stuff like that, and it's just nice having a physical item.
Yeah, I mean, we both grew up in the 90s, so we remember tapes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think you kind of have to have some sort of physical merch at your gigs. So getting your music printed on a nice disc in a nice case is something that you can sell and it gets your name out there for sure. So.
Yeah. So thinking back to some of your gigs, sort of pre-lockdown, sort of like end of last year, beginning of this year, did you sell a lot of CDs?
No, as I say, like it's not as much as it used to be.
Yeah.
That's what I think. That's the one advice I can give is that maybe don't get lots printed.
Yeah.
Because it might be. It depends how big you are and how.
This is true. Yeah.
Big your fan base is and all that, I guess.
Yeah.
As well.
But 10 years ago, when you had a CD, did you feel like you sold more then?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like more people were happy to buy a CD. And take it home with them. I think more people had CD players back then. I think that's basically what it is. Everyone nowadays just listens to music on their phones.
Yeah, and how would you do it at a gig? So you've got your CD, you've got a merch stand. Do you go up to people in the crowd and say, "Hey, do you want a copy of the CD?" Or do you wait for people to sort of come over to you?
My advice would be for basically when you're doing the show, someone should let the crowd know that you have a merch stand.
Yeah.
Maybe point to it, show everyone where it is.
Yeah.
And just indicate that after the show you're going to be there. And if you want to support the band, best come and speak to us, and we'll sell you a CD. We'll sell you, anything on the table.
Yeah. Do you want to tell the listeners how you point to the merch stand?
Oh. So, listeners, basically, I have a custom bass guitar which has a built-in laser pointer. Currently the laser's a bit broken because the batteries ran out in it, but that's an easy fix. But yeah, basically I can use it to point to where the merch stand is.
Yeah.
So I mean it gets people's attention for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean an essential part of selling merch at gigs is definitely a band member has to get to the merch stand straight after the gig, so everyone else sort of has to pack up. And one band member should get to that merch stand and be ready to sell to whoever comes up to you, basically.
Yeah.
And even if they're not going to buy anything, try and get their email address on your merch, on your mailing list.
Yeah.
So you can contact them in the future.
Yeah.
It's a very important tactic as well.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely find selling CDs these days a lot harder. I printed less copies of my new album because I just hadn't sold many CDs physically last year.
Yeah.
You do sell a few, but it feels more these days people are doing it as sort of because they want to support you.
Yeah.
And it's less so about them actually wanting to play the CD, because most people listen to music through some sort of streaming service now. So they'll probably, be like, I'll buy this, but then I'll go home and listen to it. Because I've done that. I've done that with some other local bands who I want to support.
Yeah.
I'll buy their CD, but then I might listen to it in my car on the way home because I have a CD player there, but I'm most likely to go on Spotify and add it to a playlist or something like that.
Well, one thing we tried doing is like we had our music up on Bandcamp.
Yes.
And we basically printed out a load of download codes and put them on a little card. And we were like sort of trying to sell the download codes for like a quid sort of thing, £1 a download code.
Yeah.
That wasn't a hot seller either, but I feel like maybe it could have worked better. But also, I mean, we also tried just giving away the single as well on the download codes, and you get some downloads that way. And another good thing about that is if someone does take that home and download it, is that you'll collect their email address on the Bandcamp.
Yeah.
So that's a good tactic of collecting emails for the mailing list.
Yeah.
Yeah. Music, it's a weird one. Obviously, we're in this business, obviously, to make money from music. But music's not the way. I mean, as we'll get into in the way the podcast goes, this episode, I think, is it's not really the way that you make money these days.
It's not one of the main ways. Yeah, you're right. It's just, part of it is actually selling physical music, as an indie artist is tricky because, as we say, a lot of people listen to music free online. So we've obviously talked about CDs a little bit there. Tapes, funnily enough, I don't know if you've seen this, but in recent years have come back.
Yeah, and vinyl.
And vinyl came back in a big way. I think vinyl came back in a way where vinyl should always have been there. It never should have gone because it's superior format.
Yeah. Audio-wise.
Yeah, audio-wise. But I've seen a lot of indie bands going around selling tapes at their gigs, putting their album on tapes, and it was just like they did that because it was a quirky thing to have in their merch stand and to make them stand out. Would you ever think of doing that?
Yeah, it'd be pretty cool. Also, like, I would love to get something on vinyl again. Like the third album I was on, that we did that on vinyl. We did a small vinyl run. Yeah. So I've the only vinyl I own is that particular vinyl. I don't own a record player though. So again, like I don't have any way of playing it.
Yeah. Oh, you never know. Could be a wedding gift, Billy. Could be a wedding gift. Hey. Yeah. Okay. So we move on to selling music online digitally, and just wanted to get some of your experiences having sold music online. Have you sold much music online? Do you have any particular stories there?
Yeah. So again, like being online, it means you can open yourselves up to everyone outside, or just like obviously when you're selling to people at gigs, it's just your local people. Yeah. It goes without saying you're opening yourself up on the internet to the whole world. So I mean, in my first band over here, we were selling to people in America, in Germany, in Australia, and we would get the CDs sent out to them ourselves. They could buy them on our storefront on our website, but also through Amazon. We had a storefront on Amazon, because you can have that Amazon Marketplace thing where individual sellers are on there, aren't they? So it just meant you had a way bigger market to sell to. Yeah. It's really random, some of the places. I remember we had a super fan, as they're called, who was all the way out in the Falkland Islands. Wow. Yeah, it's just this random guy in the Falkland Islands who loved the music and would buy everything.
That's really cool. Yeah. That's cool. I got a story about that, a recent one. We'll chat about in a sec. Yeah. So the way that I've put music up online to sell is that I use one of these middleman distributor sites. Yes. And so the one I use is called CD Baby.
Yeah, I know them. Yeah.
Which one do you use?
I think we're using DistroKid at the moment.
DistroKid, I've heard of that one, yeah. Okay, and so the way it goes is you use one of these sites, like CD Baby, DistroKid, TuneCore is another one, I believe. Yeah. And so you go onto these sites and you upload your MP3s or WAV files there for the tracks. You write description, you upload album artwork, etc. And they send it off to a number of different streaming services. They send it off to Spotify, they send it off to Apple Music, to iTunes, to Google Play, and a whole bunch of abstract ones that you've never heard of. Obviously, there's a couple of other little ones like Tidal and Deezer that you've sort of heard of. Yeah. Sure. Amazon Music, that's one. But yeah, there's a whole bunch of abstract ones there that you've never heard of. And they go out to these streaming sites, and then people play the tracks there. And people can buy the tracks there, but most of the time people are streaming them, and you get paid a certain amount.
0.000p or something.
Yeah, so whenever you play like Bohemian Rhapsody by Queen on Spotify, for example, you're giving Queen like less than a penny per play, essentially. To me, it's robbery.
It is. It's weird, isn't it? It's kind of like. Streaming's basically what radio was, in a way, right? Where radio used to be a way of advertising the music to an audience that was, it was kind of like the radio stations only had a certain size of audience, but it was a sizable audience, and you would advertise your music to them by getting the airplay. And now streaming's kind of replaced that, because not many people are really listening to commercial radio because it's just bollocks. So so you got these streaming services where essentially it's kind of like they're the shop window, and people can try. Essentially, they're supposed to be able to try before buy.
Try before you buy, yeah.
But then it's like the streaming services are so convenient there's no real need to buy. So essentially, that's the way it is. Like I think it's the reality of the music industry now is that streaming services are the number one way that people are going to consume music.
Yeah, that's it. So one of the sites you mentioned earlier, Bandcamp.
Yes,
this is my favourite of the bunch, and you don't need to go through a middleman in order to upload to Bandcamp. Bandcamp's sort of its own thing. And so on Bandcamp, the same as the streaming, same as the middleman sites, you go on, you upload your tracks, you upload artwork, and the description, you write who played on the tracks, etc., and you put it up. And then the great thing about Bandcamp is you can put up a price. So you say my album's worth £5, and people can come along and pay £5, or they can pay more if they like. There's that option there. Bandcamp takes a 15% commission, but you can also set it at 0. You can set it at 3, and then people get to decide what they want, which I think must be partly inspired by what Radiohead did within Rainbows.
They were the first to do that.
They were pioneers. Yeah. I remember I was at college and I used to get the NME every week. You know, I'd be sat on the bus to college reading the NME, and I remember reading about Radiohead's releasing their album online for free and thinking, this is the future. And it's kind of what Bandcamp is, kind of, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's a service that lets you. And may I just say that I think that particular In Rainbows album by Radiohead is their best one.
It's all fighting words. Let us know in the comments below if you think Billy's wrong. Is it actually OK Computer? Is that the best one, or you know?
I mean, it's a good one, but I think In Rainbows.
It's
the album that got me personally into Radiohead. So maybe that's why. I like it most.
Yeah, I mean, Jigsaw Falling Into Place is my favourite song by them. So, and I love the video as well. So Bandcamp's really good, and that's how I make most of my online music revenue.
Yeah.
Recently, I had someone through YouTube who lives in Hawaii.
Nice.
Buy a copy of my last album on there, and when someone buys the album or buys one of the releases, they can also write a personalised message to you, which Bandcamp sends to you.
Yeah.
And that was really cool finding out. Oh, this guy's from Hawaii.
Did he start with Aloha?
He didn't start it with Aloha, but
Did he end it with Aloha?
He didn't say Aloha, but I will say Aloha now to Simon Trapp. Thank you very much for buying a copy of the album. Really appreciate it, bud. And Bandcamp's a really good way of doing it, and I think it's much more supportive than Spotify and the other ones. Whereas at the moment on CD Baby, I've got about $34 I've made in the last 2 years, maybe longer, from just streaming, and it's not a lot.
I think we made about the same in a year or something like that.
Yeah.
I was really surprised it was that much, to be honest.
Yeah, it's because when you see it's less than a penny, you know, even less than a penny per stream, you think it's going to take forever to even make £1. It's looking at it now, I'm just leaving it there. I think if it ever gets to 100, maybe I'll withdraw, but it just doesn't feel worth it, because again, it's in dollars, so then when you withdraw it, unless you have an American card's bank account to put it into, you know, there's an exchange rate. PayPal takes a fee for like exchanging it, so it's going to end up more like £25 than $34. So
there is a big. I mean, I keep seeing arguments online that Spotify, in particular, and I guess other streaming services should pay more.
Yes.
And I just don't know. I mean, I'd have to look into more about the economics of it, but like, is it feasible for them, or is it just the fact that they just have too many artists to serve? I don't know. It's a weird one.
What I think should happen is that it should be free to upload, because then it's a good investment. It's free to upload, but then you slowly make a little bit off of it. Whereas at the moment, to upload an album, it's like $30 or something like that. You know, it costs a bit to upload the album, and then you spend years making that money back, especially as a small artist where you're trying to draw more plays, you're trying to get more people to listen to it, you know. But yeah, you're just not making a lot. So I didn't upload my last album to Spotify. I put it on Bandcamp, and I've made a fair bit from it there.
Yeah.
You know, so I probably could upload it to Spotify now, because I got a spare bit of cash from that to do it. But I just think it's not a good investment. It's going to take me years to make that money back. It costs to put it up there. So if it was free to upload, which I think should be the future of these sites, then yeah. But then the middleman goes hungry, doesn't he? You know.
Oh, that damn middleman.
The damn middleman. Yeah, okay, so we've talked a fair bit there about selling your music. So selling CDs, selling vinyl, selling tape, these are options, but these days, as a smaller artist, it's difficult to sell physical music at gigs. Some people will buy it because they do still listen to CDs. Some people will buy it because they just want to support you, and you know, I've had several people say, "Oh, I bought your CD, haven't even played it yet," and it's been 2 years. You know, you know. And vinyl and tape are more like luxury items. Tape's the more trendy of the two, which will probably die out eventually because it's not a good sound format. Really,
my first car only had a tape player. And I just sort of stole a bunch of my dad's tapes. Lots of like bootlegged Led Zeppelin like albums and stuff that he'd recorded from, I don't know, I guess from CD onto tape. But
do you still have them?
No, they're all dad's, obviously.
Oh,
but,
yes.
But yeah, I mean, like I stole them for the car,
Okay.
and I just do my journeys to and from like university in them.
Yeah.
And it was a interesting time. You couldn't skip songs.
You couldn't skip songs, no.
I just had a really old car at the time.
Yeah.
Eventually, I upgraded it to a CD player.
Yes.
And then that got nicked.
Oh man. Sad times.
Yeah.
So there you go. CD, tape, vinyl. Vinyl's obviously fairly expensive to get pressed onto, and I've never done it. Would like to in the future. Would be very cool.
Yeah.
And then obviously we talked about online. You can upload to a middleman like CD Baby or DistroKid or TuneCore, and from there that distributes out to Spotify and Apple Music and all the different players. But again, unless you're getting lots and lots and lots of hits, you know, hundreds and thousands a day, it's really not a great investment starting out. Bandcamp, though, I think we both recommend is a good one to start out with, because people can pay whatever they like for it. So there we go. So we've touched on that. I want to briefly touch on gigs. In our first podcast, we talked about how to get gigs, and then we did spend a big section towards the end talking about how to ask venues for money, how to ask promoters for money. So I just want to briefly cover it here for those who maybe didn't hear that one. So, you know, we said in that one, usually you get offered a cut of the door.
Yeah.
You know, that's part of it. You know, or a venue might offer you a flat fee for playing.
Yeah.
You know, or sometimes they'll ask you how much you'll charge.
Then you get a bit of haggle.
Yeah,
but
bit of
that sort
haggle.
of goes into the flat fee, isn't it? Like,
Yeah,
definitely.
And usually the bigger you are as an artist, the more money you can ask a venue for, generally.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, if you want to hear more about that, definitely check out our first podcast, How to Get Gigs. And we go into quite a lot of detail of that in the second half. I want to talk briefly about busking, Billy. Busking, because it's a lot of fun. Busking, it can be. I mean, it can be torturous as well. Depends where you busk. I just want to ask about your experience busking and you know, making a little bit of coin from it.
So, back when Fuzzwalker first started, myself, the singer Matt, who plays guitar as well, and Donna, the drummer, we decided we'll do a bit of busking. It was actually in the middle of winter, so it wasn't like the best weather for busking.
Yeah.
But
ouch.
Yeah, I mean, my hands got a bit cold. Basically, we managed to get a little 3-piece busking setup where we had a little speaker for my bass. Matt was on acoustic guitar and Donna was on cajon.
Yeah.
And I think we even plugged the acoustic into the little speaker as well, so we were both amplified because the cajon could be quite loud. And then Matt just sort of had to like sing as loud as possible, like to be overheard.
Yeah.
I mean, we hit up the high street in town. It's, you know, middle of like December, so it's built up to Christmas. Lots of people about. Yeah. Lots of festive cheer.
Okay.
And we just sort of went for it. We just started playing a lot of we did our own songs. Yeah. Acoustically, but we also did stuff like Noel Gallagher, and we also did Oasis, as that's big things that big
The
artists.
popular stuff, yeah.
Popular stuff that Matt enjoys, and they're probably his favourites. We did a bit of hard-fi, all sorts really, like from the sort of music that we enjoyed playing. And it was just such a good laugh. Like, and also you get people come up, they throw a few coins in your bag. Sometimes we were getting given £10 though, like £10 notes and stuff.
Wow,
like, it was really good. One guy actually walked past and gave us some money, and he said something like, "Oh, you're really putting the soul back into this town." And it's like, "Oh, thanks, man."
Yeah, it's nice when you get the nice comments.
Yeah, so that was really fun time. Like, we were just like excited to be out and playing to the people. But I guess with busking, like the most important thing I think if you're going to do it is to look up the rules in each town, because every town's going to have different rules.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, what's your experience with busking?
So obviously, having lived in Winchester for sort of around the last 9 years, up to sort of last October, Winchester encourages busking. It's free to busk there, and some of the buskers there are, you know, almost like professional buskers. Like they go there on purpose. In fact, one of the buskers has written a book and it's been published about busking on Winchester High Street.
Nice.
So it's a big city for busking. So I got into it during my uni years, and then later on when I didn't have as much money, I'd go out and busk, because I could usually in about an hour make about £50, and that's just me by myself with acoustic guitar and my voice. And you pick a spot and you start playing, and you do get moved on. You know, you can get moved on by shop owners can come out and say, you know, please can you move on, because me, I'm particularly noisy and energetic, and I look like a madman when I play. So you get that in the middle of the street, you know. It makes some shop owners nervous, especially in Winchester, where it's a bit fancy. But you know, at the beginning you set your guitar case down, you throw a couple coins in there to make it look like you've been doing it for a while, and you just start playing, and it's been generally good. I have had people tell me to stop. One time, actually, I had some guys trying to sell paintball days, paintball events to people, and I was there right in the spot where they wanted to, you know, it was like a cross section with a lot of people coming through, so I was making good dollar that day. And a guy comes up to me and goes, "How much to pay you to like pack up and go home?" You know, and he's like, I got £10 here. If I give you £10, will you scoot off for an hour? And I'd only just started, and I'd already made £10. I've been doing it for about 10 minutes, and I said, like, dude, I usually make about £50 in an hour, sometimes more. So you're gonna have to, you're gonna have to put, cough up a bit more, and he said, like, how much more? It's like, you're gonna need to give me like £30 or something. And he actually went into his wallet, started counting notes, and was about to hand it to me, and then went, no, and then just walked away. So nearly the easiest £30 I've ever made to not busk. It's great. So if anyone's sort of in the south of England area, or just if you travel around the UK busking, then definitely check Winchester out. It's a great city. I mean, you know, I'm a bit biased, I lived there for a long time, but also it's really great for busking.
I think Winchester was actually where we had our biggest most profitable day busking. We went down there, and I can't remember if that was around, it wasn't Christmas time then, it was more springtime. Either way, we went down there. I think we made something like £100 and something.
How long did you busk for?
A few hours. Yeah. I think actually, you know what? I think it was about £170.
That's fantastic.
That's
really good.
We did it all day. Like, I know you're supposed to like move on after like an hour,
sometimes,
and we just kept swapping positions, like sort of thing. But we got to the best place, which was like in a particular part of Winchester. There's like that main square. Where there was a choir singing, and they were hogging up that space for a while, but when they moved on, we got that spot, and it was definitely the best spot in town.
Okay, so I want to talk a little bit about the prejudice that sort of comes around busking in a second, but first I want to ask, you made £170 on Winchester High Street. Now, when you're playing, you're focusing on your instrument, you're having a good time, but you also notice when the coins go in, right?
Oh, yeah.
Now, casting your mind back to that one in particular, you played originals and covers.
Yeah.
Can you remember the originals? Can you remember the songs that made the most money? Were they originals or covers?
Probably the covers.
Probably the covers.
Yeah, probably the covers. Especially we did Oasis songs that a lot of people like, and definitely the covers. I think. Yeah. Because people know them. They're gonna like it's something that they recognise.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. So I think for original artists going and busking, I primarily class myself as that. It can be tricky. I've always tried to create an entertaining act so people would be entertained if I was playing originals or covers. So usually I do all right, but I always do notice the covers make more.
Yeah, I think as well, like you say, an interesting act that for us being this little 3-piece with the cajon and the bass.
Yeah.
I mean, being a bit biased, but bass bass is the best instrument. So, getting that rhythm section going, it enhances it, and it's just it makes it more stand out to just you get some buskers that sort of just stand there and like, I'm playing a song.
Yeah.
It's please give me money because I'm playing a song.
Yeah.
It's just boring.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Yeah, exactly. If your act is very boring, then you're not gonna make many pennies. So always sort of like audit your act before you go out and busk. But it's a generally good way to make money. And if you're struggling to get gigs, maybe starting out, maybe you're doing the open mic scene and you want to get a bit more experience, go do some busking, because it's a completely different audience. Because in a way, it's not really an audience. They're not there to see you. They're on their way places, and then sometimes they turn into an audience for a song or two, and then they move on. And so it's an interesting challenge, isn't it?
Sometimes, I mean, this is very cheeky, but you could play to another band's audience.
Yeah.
Like we did. We once went to Kingston, just west of London, and we were basically seeing a Royal Blood show that evening. And they were doing 2 shows. So the first show, everyone was queuing up outside the Hippodrome.
Yeah.
And we just set up shop there right outside the queue, and we're playing to the queue. And we picked up a fan from that, and we were handing out flyers for the band and stuff. It was like, well, I mean, we basically supported Royal Blood at that stage,
Yeah.
So that was a really funny experience, busking as well. It's just a laugh. Like it's if you've never done it before and you think about doing it, definitely do it, because it's just fun.
Yeah, it can be a little scary because it's it's taking you out of the comfort of a music venue, especially if you've been gigging for a while. It's like, oh wow, how do we operate here? Every time I've done it, I always feel a bit exposed at first, especially seeing as I'm buying myself. But eventually, like a couple songs in, I'm warmed up and I'm in it, and it feels great. I want to talk a little bit about, sort of the prejudice, the stigma around busking as well, because I think that's worth bringing up, because I think this might hold some people back from doing it, and that it kind of feels like begging.
Yeah, there is. I think some people view it like that, but really it's not. You're lightening up the town with some sort of entertainment. Obviously, you've got to be good.
Yes.
Like, we've actually... the one time where we had... actually, there's probably 2 times, but the one time that sticks out in my mind that we got asked to move on by a council worker...
Yeah.
He comes on, and basically he had received complaints about someone busking.
Yeah.
And it wasn't us. It was some other act that had been busking before we even got there.
Yeah.
I know exactly who it was, and they're just not very good. Like, basically like a cat playing a fiddle almost. Like, it's just like it's just awful. And I not surprised they kept getting moved on. But because the council worker didn't know that he'd already left, they thought we were the problem act.
Yeah.
So he started taking photographs of us and all sorts, and like threatening us, and we're like, well, we'll just go then, shall we?
Yeah. I mean, that's just the reality of it. Sometimes you're going to run into problems like that busking. I've been told to move on by shopkeepers, and them threatening to get the police to move me on when I've said no. And so you do the best you can, but you are kind of at the whim of the street.
That's part of the fun, I think. Right? And sometimes, like, I mean, if a shopkeeper does want you to move on, and you've been there like half an hour already or whatever, then sometimes it's best just to move down the street a bit and then carry on. You know, like.
Yeah. But I would encourage people not to think of busking as a kind of begging act, because I have talked to some people, you know, and told them, oh, I go busking, and they go, isn't that kind of like begging? You know, and there's a little bit of a thing there. And yeah, I think what you said, Billy, you know, you are lighting up the place, you're bringing life to it, you know. And that's a good thing, you know. So yeah, I would encourage people to definitely check out busking. It's a fun little way to get out and play, but also a nice way to make money.
Yeah, if you think about it, right, back in medieval times, you would have had bards going off to the ale house and singing the song of the local hero. You know, it's the same thing.
Yeah,
really.
Yeah. Totally is, and
toss a coin to your witcher.
Oh, valley of plenty. Oh, darn it! We're probably gonna get copyright claims now because of that. Oh, I'll maybe have to chop it out.
Just chop that
out. Okay, cool. So we're moving on to our next topic, and this is one I'm quite excited to talk about, because this has been a big money earner for me for the last 5 years in music,
right?
Which is performance royalties. Okay, so royalties, you know, is a term that stretches across many different, lots of different areas in music. You can get royalties for different things. You can get royalties for performing your music live. You can get royalties for your songs getting played at a club or in a pub or on the speaker system. You get
video.
In video games and movies, TVs, etc. You know, it goes on and on and on. But I want to focus particularly on performance royalties, because that's been one of the big money earners for me as someone who, you know, pre-lockdown gigged a lot. And so you sign up with a performance royalty site. The PRS is the one I'm signed up with, and you sign up. It cost me £50 when I signed up initially. Now it's £100 to sign up, and I think for good reason, because you make good money off this. So they charge you that little admin fee to sign up, and then you get in and you register your songs on there, and every time you play a set, you go on and you write a form on there on the site. It's pretty easy to use, to say I played this venue at this date, and I played these songs, and then you send it off to PRS. PRS then checks it with a music venue and validates that you played there on the date you said, and then you get paid a certain amount for it, and then you get paid in 4 different installments: one in April, one in July, one in October, and one December. Yeah, it's kind of quarterly. Yeah. So so that's been a good money earner for me. So Billy, what's your experience of PRS?
Well, Scott.
Yeah.
This is going to sound very naughty.
Okay.
But I have never actually signed up to the PRS.
Never signed up to PRS?
I know I should. I should have done it. You know what? Back when I first started out.
Yeah.
I should have done it then, because it was free to sign up then.
Was it?
It was literally free. My mate who was in the band, he signed up for free, and he's still a member for free.
Yeah.
Wow. Whereas I missed the boat, and then I was like, oh, £50. I don't have £50. I'm too poor at the moment, and didn't do it. Yeah. Now it's £100, and I'm like, oh, £100.
It's still worth doing.
I know, and I'm like, I'm still like £100. I guess it's just like this stinginess in me, in that I could have got it for free.
Yeah.
But I know, essentially, though, it is a wise investment, especially if you're going to take it seriously. I think for me, because I don't do music full time.
Yeah.
Like yourself, I mainly do it on the side to my day job. So, I mean, I guess I am leaving money on the table, really, though, because that's essentially, it's my own fault. And I should sign up, and I keep saying I'm going to sign up, and I just haven't done it yet.
Yeah.
I'm gonna rectify this. And that's something that I think you know what, maybe I should do this and give you updates on how that goes.
That would be cool. Maybe another wedding gift someone buys you a PRS membership.
But yeah, I mean, if you want to be a serious musician, it is very, very much important. Like, obviously, my friend is in the band, Donna. She signed up to PRS, and she collects all the royalties for all the gigs we do.
Yeah.
I mean, it's it varies, obviously, as you say, like how big the gig was.
Yes.
And all that,
the size, reputation of venue, this all plays into it. So occasionally PRS will send you payments outside of those quarterly payments if there's like one-off shows that paid a lot. So I played at the Victorious Festival in 2018. I know you've played there as well.
Yep.
And we played, I think, about a 6-song set, and we also played a cover. So we played 6 songs. I got paid £75 for playing those 6 songs. Yeah. Not even the fee for playing.
Oh, right.
That was royalties.
Oh, that's the royalties.
That was the royalties from PRS for going on. I could not believe it.
Yeah.
You know, because that could be a whole payment for like 10 gigs, maybe more, to get that much sometimes. But I just, February last year, I had £75 in my bank suddenly, more than I should have. And I was like, something's gone wrong here. I checked it, and it was from PRS. Searched it, and it was from Victorious. So moral of the story, go play Victorious Festival and sign up to PRS.
I think as well, it also, not just gigs, but a radio station plays. If the radio station has a bigger reach, you'll get more PRS like royalties as well from that, I think, as well.
You do, yes. Certain radio stations, they have to be what they call census radio stations in order to get, paid a lot. So I've only really been paid for radio once, which was when I was played on the BBC in 2018, when I had Let's Go played on the radio.
And did you have to notify the PRS of that airplay, or they did it automatically?
It was done automatically. I thought I would have to do it, but the BBC, obviously, they have a very, a strict system of how they do things. They have to make sure people get paid, and so... Yeah, so I got paid £5 or something like that for that one play. It's not bad. I mean, if you look at the big artists, the ones who are getting played a lot, Ed Sheeran gets paid like 60 quid every time one of his songs are played on the radio. Every time you get paid like 10 times a day, and that's another just 600 quid. It's just raining money. So you go on and you play a gig, and if you play your original songs, you go on and you write down those songs and you send it off, and then a couple of months later, that money comes through. The most I've got on one instalment was £300.
£300?
£300. That was April 2017, which was great because Matt, the singer of your band, was mixing and mastering my second album, which was exactly £300. And the day he needed the money was the day I got the royalties. So it was meant to be. It was meant to be. So
And was that a combination of gigs?
That was a combination of gigs.
Because it's like quarterly, isn't it?
Yeah, it's quarterly. So what they do is they before the day or two before they send it to you, because I just got royalties, I got £35 the other day, and that was just for like 5 gigs last year. It was kind of I haven't been gigging a lot this year because of coronavirus, but so they'll, before they send you the money, they'll tell you how much you're going to receive, and they send you a breakdown of where that money's coming from. So it shows you the gigs you played and how much you played per song. And I don't know the exact science behind it, how it exactly works, but it seems the more you play a song, the more money you make off of it. So the first song of my first album, A New Spark, I play that song nearly like as the first track in nearly every set I play. I've been doing that for like years and years and years. And that song, whenever I play it, I make about £1.50 per play. And then other songs that are newer are making like 32p. But then when I play at like a really good venue, I'm trying to think of one off the top of my head. I can't think of one. That just say a really good venue, I might get like £2.50 for A New Spark instead, and then those other songs will get closer to £1. So it's it seems like it's not a lot, but you got to think the
amount of times you gig.
The amount of times you gig, and if you're like a solo act like me, where I'm playing, I got paid the last instalment a week or so ago. That was, I played a gig in Southampton last year where I played for 3 hours or so. I might have told you about it a couple of weeks ago in a podcast, and I played like 30 songs, the majority of which are mine, and so I'm getting paid for that. And so that's only 30 quid in itself, you know. So it's a good money earner. You do have to spend a bit of money beforehand though to do it, but to me, it's more worth it to sign up for PRS than it is to put your album on Spotify. Spending the money
another
there.
reason why I need to do this as well, really, is because the band I used to be in, and that I had a hand in writing all the songs across 3 albums,
Yeah.
Obviously, they've started up again, which they're well within their rights to do, and they're playing those songs at gigs.
Mm-hmm.
So if I was a member, I would be getting royalties for every gig and every song that they play that I had a hand in making.
Exactly. As the thing is, they have to, at the end of each gig, send off to PRS. If they don't, you don't get paid for them. I mean, I don't know if you could, obviously you'd have to like follow them around and like figure out what songs they played that night and then enter them yourself. Yeah. So that would be a bit awkward. I don't know if that would quite work.
Like another instance could be, right, say that Fuzzwalker did a Scott Freeman song.
Yes.
And we sent off for it, obviously. Then you would get a royalty for that.
I would get a royalty for it, yeah. Same thing if I did a Fuzzwalker song. And so, obviously, if you're playing other people's covers, you can also enter that and they will get money.
Yeah.
So some people might not enter the covers so they don't get the money, and there's no, from what I've seen so far, there's no real penalties for leaving out other people's covers, but... Yeah, there you go. But another thing that can happen is the person putting on the show, the promoter, he or she can enter the PRS for you.
Yeah, they give you a sheet of paper.
They give you a sheet of paper. You put down the songs you play, and then they do it for you. So that's handy because that saves you 5 minutes. Because it only really takes 5 minutes to do.
Yeah.
And it's good to, if you're doing PRS, to do it regularly. Because if like me, like sometimes you're playing like 100+ shows a year. Then you sit down and you've got 100 shows to enter. You're going to be there all day doing admin, and it's just a lot of clicking buttons and making sure you're getting dates right and times and things. And
you got to be on it.
Yeah, you got to be on it, and you've got to enter postcodes for venues and things. So you're spending a lot of time in Google. So yeah, do it regularly. It only goes back 2 years. As well, so I could only enter sets from August 2018. I could go back that far and enter sets from there. Thankfully, I'm sort of up to date, I believe. So if you sign up now and go, I'm going to claim for all the gigs I've ever played, I'm sorry, it's not going to work out.
I think it used to be that way.
It used to be a bit more liberal, Now, not so much, because it's more admin for them. They've got to really go back digging for stuff. So I understand why they've cut it to 2 years.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. So Billy's going to sign up to PRS. He's going to
be a good boy.
Yeah, and there you go. You get yourself some extra pennies. Cool. So I'll briefly mention some of the other royalties that you can get, but I won't get into them too much because I'm still a rookie when it comes to these. These are the more advanced ones. So the next one up is PPL. So that's where you get paid for your songs being used kind of online. And so you sign up as both an artist and as a rights holder if you're the songwriter and you own the rights to your songs, clearly. And so you sign up and you register your songs, and then PPL does the searching for you. As far as I'm aware, it finds stuff out, and then you get paid at regular intervals, and it pays the artists that play on your recordings as well. So as I'm signing up for PPL and figuring it out, I'm obviously thinking of you and Donna and Tim on the first album and thinking you guys played on there, so hopefully soon you'll be able to get paid whenever these songs. So I'll have to set you up as an artist.
Isn't I mean, you say it's a songwriter as well as the owner. It's the owner of the recording, so whoever owns that recording. So in some cases, that would be the record label, I guess.
So it would. The rights holder would usually be the record label, but as an independent artist, you'd sign up as the rights holder yourself, and register all the songs. So that's a way. That's another revenue stream. That's something I'm looking into at the moment and setting up. And then there's obviously publishing royalties as well. This is for when your songs are getting played on TV and movies and things like that. So I've signed up with a publishing house last year called Centric Music, and they're a great site. And essentially that links up with PRS. So some of your PRS royalties go over to Centric, and that will build up, and you'll get your publishing royalties there. And through that site you can also send off to TV and movies. So I've sent a whole bunch of songs off to producers for them to consider using, Let's Go or whatever on a TV show or whatever. So that can lead to some cool opportunities. So there you go. So royalties, it's a huge arena. PRS is the one I'm most experienced with, and Billy shall be soon as well, I'm sure. Cool. Let's jump on to our next topic, which we kind of touched on earlier, which is merchandise. Yes, so merchandise. So obviously they're selling your CDs at gigs and online, but for me, one of my big money earners at gigs, ever since I started doing them back in 2016, has been t-shirts. T-shirts. People love t-shirts. People love clothes, apparently. I didn't know this, but people love clothes. And so I tend to sell more t-shirts at gigs than I do CDs. What's your experience with doing t-shirts?
I very much agree with that. We definitely sell more t-shirts in Fuzzwalker.
Yeah.
And in my other band, Brave Rival, as well. Very, very popular item to have on the merch desk, and I would encourage anyone that wants to have a nice merch desk to invest in some nice t-shirts. And we've experimented with different things. Like we've done nice like one color logo on a black t-shirt. We've also done a multicolored logo. We've done a big like whole spread on the t-shirt that's like a real like design like kind of thing. And even in Brave Rival recently, we've started making our own t-shirts rather than getting them made by basically if you're going to go get them made, you would send a design off to some print house or whatever, and they would print it all for you and send you the t-shirts. But what we've done in Brave Rival to make something a bit special, Lindsay, the singer in that band, has bought herself a t-shirt press. And she bought a bunch of plain t-shirts, and she's been making her own screen prints on them with different colors and different techniques, and it's really cool. And she's done like these like really what's it called, where it's like where you film it, but it's like the frames are moving faster.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Basically, they're going to get released soon on the social media. So if you are interested in that, head to Brave Rivals Facebook page. I'm sure that'll get posted soon. But I expect that they should be popular, because I feel like if I saw that, I would want to buy one of those t-shirts because it's been made by a band member. So I think that's really cool. So t-shirts definitely a hot ticket item. Have you had anything else that you've made for merch?
In terms of merch, yes. So obviously t-shirts has been a big thing. We've only had 3 designs. We had the first album, just my face, which was incredibly popular.
So popular. That was one of the most popular t-shirts, I think.
It just, people loved that. It was just my big blue face. Then just my name on the top.
My girlfriend wears that one. Well, sorry, my fiance.
There we go.
I have to get used to that. She wears that one all the time. Oh my god, we got back from the trip actually. Sorry, going on a side note here. I put a bunch of clothes in the washing machine. And some of her hippie trousers went in there, and it leaked, and some of my white t-shirts got completely wrecked.
Oh no.
And we're like, oh no, is the Fuzzwalker one in there, or the Scott Free one? And we're like, luckily they both weren't in there. So
there you go.
So
thank goodness. So she could have a replacement for free. But I've heard weird stories about things happening in that t-shirt. Like I've had fans come up to me and be like, I was having sex with my girlfriend the other day and I was wearing the t-shirt, and she was like, please can you take it off? Like Scott's face is just there, and I'm like, oh man, that's so awkward. And then I had to like meet her face to face, and she was like,
I know that face.
I know that face. It was so anyway, so I've had those t-shirts. The Scott Freeman Tokyo Sexwell ones were popular as well. But in terms of other merch, we had badges. We did badges as well, and we'd sell those for like 50p each. And sometimes I'd give them away for free. So when someone would message me online and say, hey, I want to buy a t-shirt and a CD, which every now and then happens, I'd get a t-shirt, I'd get a CD, I'd wrap them up, and I'd also write a handwritten letter and throw in a couple of badges and extra things just as thank you, because they've gone the extra mile and messaged me outside of a gig to do that. So I'd do that there. But we'd sort of like throw some badges down on a merch table and sell them quite cheap. Never really did stickers. I don't know why. I don't really like stickers all that much, to be honest. So that's probably part of it.
We've done stickers and we give them out for free, but a lot of times at gigs, some drunk girls inevitably will find the free stickers and then just sort of stick them on their breasts or in interesting places. It's always quite funny. But
Okay. Right.
yeah.
Right. Should I get stickers? I've had fridge magnets as well.
Have you?
Fridge magnets. Yeah, we got fridge magnets done for our tour 2 years ago, and I've still got a few kicking around.
Nice.
So yeah, a whole bunch of these fridge magnets. Yeah, and basically, I'll tell you, our old bassist at the time, I won't name him,
Yep.
but he was doing a job at a school, and they had like a merchandise club. I don't know
Right.
what it was, but they had like a little merchandise kind of club going. So when he found out about this, and we were like going on tour, he's like, I'm going to take advantage of this.
Huh.
So he got them making merchandise. He had a little sweatshop going in the middle of a very posh Winchester school, making t-shirts and merch of my face on it.
Amazing.
It was just bizarre. And they made the fridge magnets, and those turned out to be really popular.
Yeah.
So we had fridge magnets as well. So I think that's it in terms of merch. I have looked at getting other stuff. I was looking at doing a comic book a while ago. I had it all written. It was just getting someone to do the art and then getting it made, and then also thinking, is this going to do well?
Yeah.
I've seen guys do art prints as well. Friends of a guy, you know him as well. You know Laz.
Yes.
You know Laz?
Yeah.
Laz used to be in this metal band called Dead Blow, who were really cool. I played with them a lot, and they had these big sort of art prints that was almost like a comic thing that you like hang on your wall. It was the coolest thing ever.
Yeah.
I was just like, I want to get one of those.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, have you done anything else besides kind of the usual?
We've done the in Brave Brother we do a photo of the band that we sign.
That's cool.
That sells quite well as well.
That's a really good idea.
Badges, stickers. I mean that's basically. I mean that's the bread and butter type items. I think.
Yeah.
There are some weird things I've seen out there. So I've seen the Billy Walton Band.
Yeah.
They're from New Jersey, America. I've toured with them a couple of times, and they've done things where they've had like old Jack Daniels bottles, which have they've obviously drank all the Jack Daniels.
Yeah.
And they've printed their own sticker label for it, which says like the Billy Walton Band on it.
Yeah.
And then it's also got a little LED light in the cap, so it acts like a lamp kind of thing that you can put on your bedside table or whatever.
That's creative.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool. Obviously, I've seen lighters. I'm trying to think what else. The big one at the moment is people making masks.
Yes, that's a bizarre one
happening as well.
Yeah, I will say someone we both know, a local guy who I think is a bit of a merch genius, is Luke Edney.
Oh yeah, he's so good.
He's really good at his merch. He did he took his album artwork and made like a colouring kind of book a while back. Did you see that?
No, that wasn't at the front of the album. Like you'd get the album.
It was the album. Yeah.
It
was the album. Well, the album artwork had its own colouring.
Yeah.
You could buy it, but then like he did an additional thing where you could like colour it in, which I just thought was really great. I mean, talk about engaging with a brand. Like literally, you're colouring in the album artwork. You're spending all that time with it. That's really cool. And then recently he did another one, which I wish I had the head that he has on him, because what he did was incredible. He came up with a t-shirt that is like the lockdown tour with all the dates in the back like you'd have.
It's just nowhere,
and it was just like each date is like nowhere. And he's posting all these photos of people buying them, and I just think of course you would. What a cool funny piece of merch, and a way to take advantage of lockdown and not getting out and gigging and stuff. I mean, just Luke,
I've seen one band I know of. It's called Jack Hutchinson. He's a blues rock guitarist. He was supposed to obviously go on tour supporting his brand new album. That only came out the other day, I think. And obviously the whole tour had to be cancelled. So basically, instead of doing nothing, he recorded what would have been the live set for that tour and released that as an album. Before the main album came out. And then he did this live stream as well, taking donations and stuff. It's funny you touch on live streams. That's one of our last topics now. So as we get into live streams, it's a funny one.
It's a funny one, live streams, because it's before it was something you could do on the side.
Yeah.
You know, it was something you could additionally do on top of gigs. You could maybe do a live stream, and occasionally you'd see, you know, people live streaming a gig. You know, that was popular. I've seen that done over the past couple of years, where venues would hook up a GoPro or something and live stream a gig. Now it's people live streaming from their living rooms because there's nowhere else to play.
Yeah.
And that's become the thing of lockdown, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's definitely like the last few months, so many people have just been getting to grips of live streaming to different levels of success. Like, it really has depended on people's internet a lot of times.
Yeah.
I've seen people live streaming, it's just really choppy. Even when we did it, actually, we did a little live stream with Brave Rival, and it was just, we thought it was looking great, but actually it was just really choppy and not very good quality at all. So hats off to the people that get it right.
Yeah.
Because it's difficult to get right in terms of but I think you just really have to have like amazing internet for it to work properly.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, I finally got internet installed in here recently, which has been a huge plus, because now I can do live streams from here.
Yeah. What days of the week is that, Scott?
I do my live streams Saturdays at 10 a.m.
10 a.m. And what's the name of the YouTube channel?
Scott Freeman.
Excellent.
Yeah, there you go. So doing those up on the YouTube channel every Saturday, and it's mostly just me talking, and then occasionally someone will say play a song, so I grab my guitar and just play, and it's been fun, but I'm still getting it right. It's still gotta make it look even better and get there. But you know, I did one a little while back where I featured on someone else's channel, Fred Irwin, another local act. He did a live stream and he had me feature on it, and I did a pre-recorded segment of his live stream that he then played, and
his internet was bad, wasn't it?
Yeah, internet was bad, so my playback was a bit choppy, which was a shame, but you know, people could watch the same thing on my YouTube channel, so it wasn't the biggest deal. But he had a PayPal link down in the description, which people could send money along to, and I made £15 off that stream. Yeah, technically the first money I've ever made off YouTube. Yeah. So yeah, people were donating to it. You know, so there's another option.
Yeah, we did the same actually with the Brave Rival stream. We had a little we had a donate link. And yeah, I can't remember how much we made. I think it was like maybe 30 quid or something.
That's great.
Yeah, it's like some people put in some money, you know, get yourself a drink, the little note on there, sort of things. Like,
oh, so nice.
Yeah, it's nice. It was but that is definitely like, it's a weird one. I think streaming is going to become it's going to become bigger and bigger in the music scene, more so than it has been. I mean, obviously, if you follow like video games, you got like Twitch.tv, which is like one of the biggest streaming sites in the world, and that's all mainly for streaming video games and talk shows and stuff like that. But I think music's going to get there. It's going to get more and more popular to stream music. And I think, I don't know how much you want to go into this, but it's going to be tricky, I think, for the platform holders to handle copyright strikes and stuff like that, because like sometimes people might play a cover and then they get copyright striked and then they don't get any money or any, like, they get banned or whatever. It's something stupid like that. It's just like, it's difficult, but that is tricky. So yeah, I mean, if you get copyright strikes, maybe you don't get money off revenue for the video, like for AdSense or something like that. You know, if you qualify for that. But I mean, I guess you probably still get to make money off the PayPal link, right? Yeah,
unless they chase you down and like, no, part of that money needs to go to us. But I don't know if that would happen.
Twitch has its own tip jar system. Yeah. So people can tip via that, and also if people subscribe to you, I think they have to pay money to subscribe to you. Yeah. Like at a certain level, and then that money goes to you. Okay.
That's interesting. I really don't know much about Twitch. So
yeah, I think it's going to be great. I reckon it'd be worth exploring streaming there as well as YouTube. Yeah. But I don't know how many people are doing music on there, to be honest. But I reckon it's going to grow. It's
funny in general. I remember sort of like around sort of the mid-10s, you know, when live streaming apps came in, and you had like the big two were Periscope and Meerkat. Yeah. And then Periscope got bought out by Twitter. Yeah. Now I've not heard anything about Periscope in years.
I think Twitter has a go live button now, which must be the same tech.
It's probably the same software program that Periscope is, but they probably don't call it Periscope anymore. No. But yeah, you had other sites like Ustream. Yeah. Before that was, I used to do my basement show early on YouTube.
Mixer.
Yeah.
That one.
But then, yeah, it's slowly been ticking away in the background and becoming incorporated into YouTube and Facebook and becoming more of a thing. And now, because of lockdown, it's risen to the fore.
Yeah.
You know, so I think it's worth taking a look at, you know, other formats like live stream that are sort of slowly growing in the background, because usually it's, you know, it's good to get in at it there when it's in its formative years, because you never know when it's going to explode like live stream has.
Exactly. And the other cool thing about it is, you think back to when I was talking about selling your stuff online.
Yeah.
You're reaching a global audience. With the live streaming, you can reach a global audience. You could have someone from the complete opposite side of the world watching you, you know.
Yeah.
And become a fan, and then they might buy merch, you know. It's definitely, I think live streaming is if you can get it right and you can put on a good show, you're gonna stand out. And I think it's something I would love to do more of, but it's there's technical hurdles that I'm not clever enough to get through yet, I think.
Yeah, I think me and you can probably do a live stream podcast at some point on camera. We can probably try that out at some point. That would be really cool. So live streaming, it's big right now, but we both feel like it's going to get bigger. And as we say, you put those tip jars in there, and that's great. That can help you out. So we've got just a couple subjects left, which will be kind of smaller as we draw to a close. So this one is YouTube. This next one is YouTube, of course. Now, as a full-time musician myself, I've got different revenue streams. And for the most part, it's been gigging, royalties, merchandise, and, you know, the little bit of money I get from my part-time job teaching music. You know, doing that all together, you know, I thought to myself, I want to find other areas that I can make money in, because every now and then I'd get someone who goes, oh, can you record a bit of music for me? Can you write a song for me? I'll pay you for it, you know, and led to me building a recording studio so I can do more of that. But then also you look at YouTube, it's the second biggest search engine in the world, and there are people that make billions off of it, and you think, well, there's something here, should look into this. So last year I obviously set out to build a YouTube channel up from the ground and built up to 1,000 subscribers eventually. I'd still at 1,000 subscribers not getting paid yet, you know, because you have to do two things in order to get paid for doing YouTube. For getting ads on your video, you need to have over 1,000 subscribers, and you need to have 4,000 hours of watch time in the last year. I have 500 hours, and so that's an eighth of what I need, you know, so still pretty far away, you know, but it's something sort of aiming towards, growing towards, aspire to, you know, so it's kind of, speculate to accumulate at this point. But there are other ways to make money off YouTube. There's affiliate marketing as well. Affiliate marketing is a good one, where you sign up with Amazon Associates or another affiliate site, and you type in, you know, say microphones, a specific microphone, and you get a link from Amazon Associates. You put that in the description of your video, someone clicks that link, they go through to Amazon, and then if they buy while they're there, you get 1 to 10% commission of what it is. And so I had a guy on my live stream the other day who was saying, do you make any money off YouTube? I said, I'm doing a little bit of affiliate marketing, so I'm making a little bit. And he goes, oh, that's great, I make $120 off of it a month.
Wow.
And it's really, all you're doing is posting a link in your description. It's very little work for what can be a big return. So that's one of the big ways people make money off YouTube. So I definitely recommend anyone listening who's on YouTube and taking it seriously to try that out. You can also get brand deals and merchandise and that sort of thing, but not got into that
sponsorships and that.
Sponsorships, As I said earlier, you know, I've had a few people click on my Bandcamp links through videos and buy some songs through YouTube, which is great. But again, in early days of that, again, if you get a channel that just kind of takes off, and you've got, you know, you're starting to get money from AdSense, then all the best to you. But it's tricky. I knew when I started out, you know, it's going to be a long road. I've still got a long road ahead. You know,
some of the big YouTubers though, like I've like you think of like some of the biggest music channel YouTubers.
Yeah.
You got like Davey504, right?
Oh yeah.
He's got I think he's like 8 million or something subs now.
Yeah.
And he's making bank. Like every video that goes up, he's making thousands and thousands of dollars a month, right? But I remember he talked about in one of his videos how he got to be quite as big as he is, because he didn't start out being the character that he is today.
Yeah.
Like I think something happened where basically PewDiePie noticed him, who was or still is the biggest YouTuber on the platform.
He is, yes.
And apparently he gave him a shout out or something, and from that he suddenly got all these subscribers.
Yeah.
And his platform grew really big, and at that point he was like, right, I'm going to go do this full time then. So it's interesting, like, you know, just getting noticed on YouTube by the right people and getting the right shout out can definitely help you grow. I think that's one way of making YouTube grow. So,
it's definitely one way of making it grow. I mean, this could be a whole other video of like how to like grow on YouTube.
Yeah.
Definitely could do that. But I will briefly touch on it and say, it's making content that people are searching for, because it's a search engine, and it's attached to Google. And again, you type in a certain thing into Google and it will pop up, with videos in the suggestions, usually at the top there. And a lot of time people go, oh, I'll just watch the video and the guy there will tell me what it is. And so I don't have to read, because who wants to read? So, and from my experience at the moment, I've posted 4 videos on mass loaded vinyl, the material I've got on the walls of my studio, and one of those I posted in March and it has nearly 1,400 hits. The next one has nearly 1,000, and the other one that I posted a month ago has galloped up to like 600 something.
People love that vinyl, man.
People love the mass loaded vinyl, and it's it's crazy. It's just, if I had a whole channel dedicated to mass loaded vinyl, I could probably make good bank, but I'm not going to do that. It's just one aspect of my channel. So, but that is an example, if you pick a like specific thing like that and talk about it, then you can grow your channel like that, you know. So that's my recommendation. Okay, so there's one major one left, and then there's a couple of little things. Okay. Last one's crowdfunding. Okay, so we've gone quite extensive today, but I thought crowdfunding's quite an interesting one. Because we've both got experiences of crowdfunding and got very different stories from it. So I wanted to ask your experience of crowdfunding. How many times have you done it, and what was the results, and what have you done with the money?
So I've only done it the once, and it was for Brave Rivals' debut album, which basically we needed to make about $3,000 was the budget we were seeking, right? To fund the creation of this album, and we decided to go Kickstarter, but there's other options out there in terms of generating money from a crowd. You obviously get Patreon and stuff like that, but Kickstarter seemed to make the most sense for us because we're kickstarting a project. So basically we set up everything on there. We followed a lot. We did loads of research on what the do's and do nots sort of thing. And one of the things was obviously making a really nice, clear video message, which we filmed and got nicely edited together to show who we are and what we're trying to achieve and all that. And then we had like a really nice written thing about that. And then obviously with the crowdfunding, you can set up different tiers for what people get for certain amounts of money that they donate or pledge. So we had like obviously a certain amount you get the album, a certain amount you get the live album that we just recorded, as well as the studio album. You get maybe the next one we get a t-shirt, and then we had in the very higher tiers we'll do a garden gig for you. No one bought that one, but but we had loads of different tiers, and once we had sort of set that all up, we then decided we would start the campaign on this date, and we all shared the link and everything on Facebook and shouted about it from the rooftops, and from there it kind of was pretty incredible, like the support we got from like our quite small fan base in the scheme of things.
It was quite a reaction, wasn't it?
We had I think we had like maybe like 1,200 Facebook fans, which is pretty good for a band starting out, but not like crazy numbers. Like most bands of a certain stature you'd think would be like 12,000, double that, not double that, 10 times that. But anyway, from like literally within the first weekend, like within the first day, I think we already hit $1,000. Yeah, because people were pledging. Like we had like 100 people pledge like £10. That's all it took, Yeah. And eventually we did hit the $3,000. Like with time to spare, and we made about £3,300, something around there. Insane. So we were well over target, and due to that, we were we managed to get in touch with a producer that we want to work with. Like the time frame all got a bit screwed up by COVID. Because we were going to record in April. Yeah. April and May, but we couldn't because everyone had to social distance. So we decided we're just going to carry on writing more songs, and hopefully we'll get to record it later this year when everything's a bit safer. I feel like things are starting to open up a bit, so we're already talking about when we're going to do that.
Oh, that's great. So the money's just sitting there waiting to be
used. Literally,
yeah,
it's just sitting there, and in a way we're adding to that fund by selling merch online. So
yeah, that's great.
And doing other things. So it's still ticking over.